I think this may be the coolest concept or thing I have ever done on a guitar in my life. Yeah, I really do. Okay. Fail. Look at that. Hey, this is me. This is a picture of me being incredibly embarrassed. Welcome to Luthier's Tips, Tricks and Training from Crimson Guitars. I'm Ben Crow and this video is brought to you by my need for sparkly things. I have got this guitar. It's one of our Crimson Descendant Raw series models. We started making it out of Burl Poplar, and the idea was to use molten pewter as a grain filler to fill all of the knot holes and things. And I would not recommend this as a process if you want to do things quickly. Mix aluminium powder with resin, put it in there, file it back. Done, sorted, easy. But what I have got is well worth the extra time, and I'm looking for something that truly sparkles and glitters and just catches the eye. So I've been carving. It's filled and then cupped and carved, and this is pewter I'm working with. Health and safety announcement, I'm using modern British-made pewter, so there's no lead in this. I'm also not licking it. Because it is so soft, you can use woodworking tools. Burn it. Now, scrapers, carving gouges, etc. I've used that to create multiple facets inside of each thing. I am going to be doing some sort of a galaxy stain using the Crimson Stunning stains, both water and spirit based. But today, well, this blank came to me with this semi-live edge and no bark. Let's make some pewter bark, because so this is a very, very rough and all over the place surface, but it gives us quite a lot to work with. For starters, I'm going to have to take a cast of some bark, which I just so happen to have. To do that, I'm going to use some of my current favorite toy. This is a 2-part silicone putty. Weigh it out in equal parts, squish it together, and very quickly apply it to whatever you want to cast. Goes off and sets in just a few minutes. 60.8, 2 grams out, yeah. So you've got to move very, very quickly with this stuff. It's 2 different colors, so you can see when it's properly mixed. Doesn't normally turn grey, but hey, I'm a dirty bastard right now. So I'm spreading it out because the it's taking little casts of the bracelets. That's hilarious. Okay, that is already starting to set, so I'm just going to hold it down like that for a minute and leave it. And we have the beginnings of a bark mold. Silicone rubbers stick to each other, and in many cases when you're mold making that is a problem, but in this case I'm trying to make a relatively long section in this quick setting silicone, and well, that's played in my favor in this case. So I now have a piece of bark that I can mold. There are many different ways that I could pour silicone into this, make a second part of the mold, put that over the whole guitar, and then just pour pewter into that. Could potentially work, but could also go very, very wrong. And I default to hitting stuff. So the plan is to cut away the excess, make it flush with the top and the side of the guitar so that I can see exactly the size I want. I'm then going to make another a mold or a pattern. This is the pattern, that's the mold, and I'm going to pour flat pewter into sections of that, and then I'm going to beat it to the rough shape of the guitar. And there is going to be an interstitial layer. This is a tree, there's multiple layers of bark and different sections there, and I'm just going to use a, well, milliput to glue it in place, which seems to me to be the easiest option in this case. Onwards. Run the chisel flat on the guitar, pushing against the support of the body. And that makes quick work. The temptation is to try sand cast, but I am not. I'm very, very early on in that game. With this piece, what I'm going to do as a first attempt is encase it in silicone and pour from the top some pewter and see what happens. Why not? What's the worst thing that can happen? A generous application of a wax resist or a sealant coat release. And I don't want to get this on my fingers for when I'm mixing the rest of the silicone. Mixy, mixy. Bop, bop, bop. It's not quite standing up. I'll wedge it with some stuff. But I've got both the front and the back in the mold. And I've also got the shape roughly, so that's going to match the guitar quite nicely. There is a whole art, a whole lifetime of work and knowledge and skill in casting and mold making and pattern making, and I'm right at the beginning of that. So if you do this, tell me what I need to know, please. Okay, what I have done here, I wanted to keep the thickness as close as possible, so I've created a mold that I'm going to use once and then cut through, and hopefully the first cut will be the first cast will be good. I've covered a lot of the gaps. There should not be any overspill, hopefully. I'm going to pour in here, and the top, that height there is inside that cup, so I should be able to see when I'm full. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it in one pour. That is all that remains of a pewter pint mug. Crikey. Well, that did what I thought it would. Yeah, of course I spilled some on the way in. If I had made that as high as that, it would have been better. Far better. You want to have a reservoir of metal at the pour point to sort of push and push down. But given that we're going for a very natural thing, I'm not too worried. Also, I went and got a map gas torch just to speed things along. I piddled on my bench. Oh no. It's been a few hours to cool down. Not quite necessary, but I had, you know, coffee to drink. So there we go. Now, I'm hoping that I don't need to use this mould again. But if I do, I can still do it. I'll just need to tie it closed. Well, this is the moment of truth. I think we got the whole thing. Holy crap. Ooh. Okay. And break the blade because, you know, that's what we do. Yeah, so that's gone a bit more curvy. But there's a solution. This is a bone mallet, so it's not going to damage the cast. Cutting a curve on a multifaceted curved surface without proper support. Just don't get your finger in the way. I'm going to grind off this section for fun. Okay, we've got it now, so now it's just a little bit of banging. Mind your ears. To be honest, I could probably actually do it here. Hammer the curve out. I think this whole section is wrong. Okay, so next time we make the sprues far more obvious. Obviously, the bit I'm trying to hammer is the thickest section because I'm a numpty. The gaps are not absolutely perfect, although there are enough points of contact that it just sits in there as it should. Remember, this thing is going to be black and blue and purple and all sorts of stuff, and I'm going to have a layer of milliput two-part putty, which I'm hoping will be all I need. I'm going to key the back of the pewter, i.e. little scratches and things, so that it holds. Mix up the putty, stick it on there and leave it for a few hours. I expected to have to add or change things. That is very, very close. This isn't a sponsored video, but I have been playing with milliput a little bit. And the more I do, the more I think, there's some seriously cool uses for this stuff in guitar building. So at the very least, I have a few videos planned, and I think we should potentially start selling it at Crimson. So 3 to 4 hours, and this should be rock hard. I've packed a bit more milliput in around the edges. The whole thing has now been pushed a little bit further away from the body, which means that the edges that I cut into the pattern earlier are now far away. So there is still going to be some filing, etc. But I think it's going to look great. I am going to walk away because I can't not touch things when they're right in front of me. So I will see you tomorrow. Next day, and it has done what I needed to do. That is absolutely solid. I've also used the milliput to fill a few gaps that bits of pewter kept on falling out of. I am now going to cast the next piece and, well, move swiftly on. Move swiftly on. Now this is thinner towards the end. I was worried that that's not going to fill. If it doesn't, I'm happy to make a separate piece here and just create a grain line in black if needed. I'm going to pour at the fat end, but these two holes are now the same height. This should be, well, it should be all right. Oh shit. Fail. Look at that. Ha! Well, that sucks. It's peeing out the end. Damn it. Well, gosh darn it. I'm kind of glad that was on camera. Okay, whoops. I mean, this channel is defined by the fact that I don't really care about my mistakes because they're all about learning. So hey, this is me. This is a picture of me being incredibly embarrassed. Let's choose a better substrate for the next time. I don't think I've exploded any stones, which is good. How the hell did I not spot that little hole right at the end? So I've split it all the way down the middle and cleared all of the sort of swarf and bits and pieces of rubbish that were in there, and I'm going to rebuild this mould, just create an outer jacket holding all of that together and covering up the tiny little hole that I just failed to spot down there. What a numpty. Rebuilt and plugged. That looks a little bit closer to what I was hoping for the first time. I also basically melted as much pewter as would fit in this, my largest crucible, and it was about right, so I was lucky, and I need a bigger crucible now. A few hours later, and this has cooled down. We have a complete casting. this is going to be fun. Took a little bit more shaping. That ended up thicker than I had wanted, due to having to cut it up, due to forgetting a hole in the end, you know, like a total fool. But there we go. So I've removed a bit of material, filed and ground, and this section is now in, and I'm using the black milliput to solidify. The last thing you want on a guitar are erroneous chambers, unless they're tone chambers, of course. I could have just glued some bark on and painted it silver. What would the point be in that? See you tomorrow. Next day, I have got a lot of pewter to get rid of, essentially pushing it out. It would have been easier at this stage if I had cast the pewter directly onto the wood and then glued with a thinner substrate, but as it is, I've got a lot of material to remove, and I'm going to be using the Shinto Saw Rasps. These things, I was given one of these very early on in my career by somebody who worked with me, and since then, well, I actually sorted them out, and it's now something that we sell at Crimson. It is the best rasp I have ever experienced. I love them. Double-sided, really coarse and really fine. Pewter is soft, it acts like wood, and I'm actually using the coarse side. We do have at the moment a sort of Japanese market only, fine and super fine version that is also available for sale at Crimson, probably limited time only. And back with the cabinet scraper. Oh my gosh. I don't want to sell this guitar anymore. Not at all. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And just for fun, this is the Crimson fret polishing strop. I don't know when to stop. It defines me. I can do better. I think this may be the coolest concept or thing I have ever done on a guitar in my life. Yeah, I really do. And I'm going to leave it here for now. In the next episode, the final episode, I'm going to put on the finish and stains and all that sort of stuff. I'm having a blast. I hope you are too. Now imagine this with an almost pitch black background with all of that shining through. I am ecstatic. Yeah. And I didn't add very much weight, which is cool too.